What's up, legumes? It's your bean, only Joel can judge me, and I'm here with a new video. Right now I'm only making video for stuff that is interesting and new to me, and I try out different builds. My whole thing is that I like to try different random combinations, not random, but what I think works that's not meta, but is as effective, and see if I can solo Deathless good with it. And this is one of my current builds, which actually had to be modified a little bit. I couldn't run all the weapons I wanted to run as effectively as I wanted to. And the important thing in this channel is that I show you builds that are different, unique, but still incredibly viable. So I had another configuration. It included a couple different weapons, but they weren't as effective as your standard meta builds. And that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to give you alternate meta builds that are just as effective as the current ones out there. So to start, we're going to go over what type of map this is, which is an emergency evac. That's the one where you help the civilians get on a shuttle and escape certain death. This is a bot mission, and this is the new jump bots, which were very fun to fight. They added new dynamics to an enemy that's usually stationary. Normally when you play bots, the only major threat is the laser fire, and there's plenty of that. And with adding jumping to the bots, which lets hulks, along with regular shafts and devastators, leap and get closer range to you, making you less fortified in your positions that you take when you take cover. It's added a dynamic of no longer being able to suck up on cover and just kind of hide. You kind of got to reposition yourself a little more and move around a bit. Honestly, mobility was always king, even on bots, but this just added another dynamic of where even if you're moving around, the bots can jump towards you and you have to reposition, adding just more depth to the game. So different things can happen. There's now more variables, and you have to account for them, adding complexity and difficulty to the game in a fun way when it's not cheesing you. Anyway, so I'm going to go over my build, which is pretty standard. Scorcher, which is basically one of the best bot weapons because it bypasses things like dev shields. You can grossly fire because the projectiles are pretty big, and it can also take out air units. So it makes it pretty much one of the best picks for bots. I picked a jump pack because mobility is still the most important thing, especially when you have an enemy that can reposition on you and make a rapid leap towards you. The jump pack allows you to quickly react and get out of harm's way. And the QC, because sniping fabs is still incredibly important. It's the fastest way to destroy bases and things like fortresses. And in an environment where the bots are always on you and can actually get closer to you much faster than they were able to, being able to quickly destroy bases is still very, very important. I was originally concerned with maybe not being able to address things like the jumping hulks, but the hulks can be timed. When they jump, there's a second where they kind of just pause and kind of settle after the jump, and the QC still has enough time to shoot them if you're fast enough and you're paying attention. Along with that, though, I brought Thermites, which is also another standard build. But the key difference here is I believe I found a new meta weapon, the Smart Pistol, which came in the Force of Law Warbond, and pair that with the Gunslinger, which increases reload speed and your ability to unholster your sidearm, and I believe increases accuracy. It just makes the Smart Pistol super smooth and really easy to use. The reload is lightning quick, so it's just constant barrage of Smart Pistol rounds gutting down anything and everything in your way. And for me, that made a big difference. One thing I did notice, and it may just be in regards to my personal games, but the one shots and the critical shots seem to have been turned up a bit. And that's what influenced this particular build in this game. In the picture, it shows that I have the medium gunslinger armor, and that's wrong. I have the light gunslinger armor. My stratagems are MG turret to allow me to place them and use them for distraction, which is always good. The orbital laser, which is great at just quickly wiping big mobs of enemies and also destroying bases. And again, I brought the QC, the jump pack, and experimental infusion, so I can pop that and do some agility plays. Experimental infusion is important because that's the key to making those quick decisions. One is you can pre-stim and it hardens you and also speeds you up. But two, you can pre-stim not only to get away from danger, but you can pre-stim to perform like an agility play where you need to move just that much faster, move out of range or in range of where you want to be, and just be that much safer, allowing you to be way more aggressive on the laser fire that bots present. Gonna have another variation of this build. I'll probably try to revisit it and do it in a later video. But right now it's seen to be best, to be the most agile I could be, and use weapons that allow me to run a gun as quick as I can. And that's this build right here. I feel like they increased the amount of hulks in the game, and along with them jumping, it's presented a great challenge. But because of that, you really need to leverage your speed and agility because now you have giant flying hulks jumping at you. So builds where you're a little slower aren't as good as this, the jump pack build I have right here. If you know what I'm aiming at, the Rocket Strider's rockets. It's a quicker TTK than aiming at their base plates.
Clear the area.
That's just one thing to note. If you can hit the rockets, aim at them. It's not too hard, especially with the larger projectile size of the Scorcher. Originally, Scorcher was thought as not such a great weapon to fight Rocket Striders with, but as you have sight of the rocket, it's still pretty fast. It's not as fast as, say, if you had a DCS, which is like just a few rounds, but it's still quicker than hitting the base plate, and it's highly acceptable TTK as opposed to using like most of your mag on the base plate.
Tagging map.
As you can see, the smart pistol does a lot of the heavy work. It complements well with the Scorcher. Everything is quick run and gun stuff. You can spend more time concentrating on moving and less time concentrating on aiming. And that translates into way more aggressive agility plays. Picture your brain like a computer, right? And in some cases, doesn't have infinite processing power. So the more time you spend aiming, the less processing power you spend in your movements. So if you run a build like this where Scorcher is gross fire aim and the smart pistol is auto aim, you can think more about or spend more processing power on positioning. And positioning is actually more important. As you can see here, I'm auto firing with the pistol, but because I'm not paying attention to aiming, I see that rocket and I can move out the way pretty quickly. I slow it down so you can see it, but it's way faster than that. And it makes it look like I have like really fast reaction time when I don't really have super fast reaction time. But I'm just able to notice the rockets more because I'm literally not staring at aiming on my target. I'm not concentrating on that. And just to be clear, being able to move in position and dodge comes from your like general awareness. When you focus on aiming, that awareness of where you're at, your situational awareness, is diminished. So the less time you spend aiming, and that's what having a Scorcher and the smart pistol do, the more aware you are of where you're at in regards to enemy fire, and if you're being caught out of position or you're just in a bad way and you need to move. And that's a great answer to all these bots. As you can see, Smart Pistol's literally carrying this skirmish. Like I said, I'm going to highlight a bunch of the mobility stuff. And everybody's different, but for me in particular, I believe that the less time I spend on what I'm aiming at, the better. That's not to say I don't pick high accuracy weapons. I do. I have like a ton of like Deathless full clears, not using stratagems with using something like the DCS, but I'm just noting that this is effective. So it doesn't come from a place like I need this, but I do recognize when things are highly effective. And of course, if they are effective, I will use them. There's a use case for weapons that are high accuracy, but not in a run and gun situation like this. So if you want to move like this, pick the gross aim, gross fire weaponry. Again, timing the holds when they drop still allows you to use QC pretty viably. We're just dropping a Thermite. When they jump, it's not the end of the world. They jump and it's like they have to settle when they drop. So there's a moment of immobility. You're going to see a lot of the laser weave this game. If you're going to laser weave like this, it's easiest in light armor. It can be done in medium armor, but I would suggest using the light armor. Just me fucking up a laser weave, trying to look cool. That's going to happen too, you know? That's the calculated risk you take. It's not a foolproof plan. We're also going to talk about disrupting enemy fire. That is shooting at an enemy that has already acquired you, like it just did there on the rocket dev. So, if you allow them to shoot at you, there's a good chance that they kill you. And you can take another calculated risk, like I just mentioned, by shooting at them while they're shooting at you, even after you've been acquired. Most of the time, especially with something like the Scorcher, you will disrupt their fire, and they may still hit you, but they won't kill you. So instead of leaving it all to chance and RNG, where if you did not disrupt their fire with your own fire, and you just allowed them to shoot at you, by shooting at them, you give yourself a larger chance that they won't kill you, even if they roll kill shots and critical hits. By kill shot, I mean the one shot. The next time I trade, I'm going to call it trading, disrupting fire. But the next time I trade gunfire with the enemy, I'll slow it down, and you can see it, as opposed to what you just saw with the rocket dev now, which looked like nothing. Like he shot at me and I shot at him, and then he just missed his rockets. That's not really what happened. He shot at me and I shot at him. A few of his rockets, you know, were accurate and within range of killing me, and then several of his other rockets just fired wildly as he was affected by the Scorcher blasts. One of the most important things that you have to understand is, especially on enemies like Hulks, even with their jumping, mobility is always the answer. The more mobile you are, just the more effective you are going to be against fighting bots. Bots rely on laser fire, rockets, and apparently fire. And basically, the more mobile you are, the easier it is to not get killed by them. I'm doing a little bit of trolling here. I like to stay too close on purpose, and I mean, I play this game to have fun, so. That's actually from the short I made recently, and I'll link it after I complete this video. But that entire skirmish was about positioning, okay? It was about waiting until the enemy committed to firing his fire. It was about waiting until the last possible moment to jump away, because the enemy is overcommitted to his movement, and exploiting that against him. Leveraging our speed, our accuracy, our agility versus his power, which is slow and plodding. People think differently. You know, me personally, I think speed, positioning, and timing beat raw firepower any day. I'd rather be underpowered but have speed, agility, and timing than just have like an abundance of power. It seems counterintuitive, but the more you know about combat in particular, the more you realize, and this is like a cliche for like almost like innuendo, but it's not, you know, how powerful your gun is, you know, or your weaponry set is. It's how you use it. You know what I mean, boys?
Dropping a pin.
I mean, this part of the gameplay is pretty standard. It's hit and run, smash and grab. It's always been best on bots, and it still remains just as good. Like I said, I have another version of this build. I'm probably gonna run it, but basically, I want to showcase the Smart Pistol here because I believe it's literally one of the best, if not the best, secondary on bots. I'm not bringing anything else. Oh, hello. Thanks for scratching that itch, Berserker. I appreciate it. It's on the small of my back, and I don't have a back scratcher. Me weaving my own MG turret's gunfire, because, you know, you have to do that.
Hell bomb armed. Clear the area.
Set the bomb and we outie. MG turret's still out there causing a distraction and securing my getaway.
Tagging map.
Take this opportunity to run up in here, drop a few bombs. The thing about this Thermite on the double fab over here is it kills both of them. And at this point, if I remember correctly, I get out of position, I've caused enough problems staying close. I drop my MG turret for a distraction, reposition, move to the other side, and kill this final fab. Rotating around your target's important. Always envision your enemy like a train. They go forward or backwards. So the best way to prevent getting hit, killed by bots is to move laterally, left and right. Never go forward or backwards unless it's intentional and there's a reason to. So always try to move around, rotate, more accurately, try to orbit your target. Again, that's just good tactics. Punches come forward, so moving back is only going to, sorry, not punches, bullets come forward, so moving backwards only going to get you so far. And by so far, I mean dead. Another thing to notice, the jump hulks and devs, well, not the hulks, but the devs are a lot weaker. I feel like hulks are pretty similar. Some people say that they're weaker. I'm not so sure about that. Thank you. MG turret's good for a plethora of reasons. One of them is distraction, and two is like an indication of where your enemies are. You just look where your MG turret's firing. You know that's where you have enemies.
Sub-objective in your vicinity.
For prosperity!
Critical stratagem available.
Smart pistol doing work right there. Allow me to push up quickly. One thing I will say about the mobility in this game is it's not as pronounced as in games like Elden Ring, but there's a lot of nuance that you just don't find in other games. Right now I'm going to show you that you can weave while charging up the QC. So a lot of people are like, oh, you stand still and it makes you susceptible to getting hit with the QC, and that's why it sucks. And I'm going to slow this down and show you that that's not the case at all. I understand that this is slowed down a whole lot, but watch the movement. It's also not in the same direction. It's moving left and right, and that's throwing the target acquisition down, throwing the target acquisition off. And like I said, this is slowed down, so you don't see how quick that's actually happening. But sometimes the movement doesn't have to even be like a large dashing movement. It can just be by millimeters, and that's enough to throw the acquisition off.
Get some! Get some!
Also, don't move in the same direction. As you can see, it's moving left and right randomly, and that's literally throwing them off and making him just barely miss me. And that's a Sufi style play right there. So
Tagging map.
for people not familiar, that's Sufi Incognito. Probably one of the best with movement in the game, if not the best. It's a shame he doesn't play anymore. And Farrowhead's watching. You really should keep players like that retained in your game. And by leaning towards this weird like one-shot crit thing that's going on right now, barrel death, RNG stuff, and not rewarding a player for movement, you're losing some of your best players. It's not like a huge deal, I guess, because you're always going to have players. It's about quantity, not quality. But that's an incredible loss right there.
Mission at 20 minutes remaining.
I agree with RNG death. It's something that should happen. I would say roughly like a quarter of the time, like 1 in 4 deaths should be an RNG death or an RNG, I'll call it final destination moment where you are destined to die by super accuracy or whatever it is, or barrels normally. But I feel like that modifier has been turned up way too high lately. And that's how you make players feel like cheated, you know. And once in a while is great. Not even once in a while, but like a 1 in 4 chance is great, but it definitely can't be like an 80% chance of RNG death is your only death. Or RNG death is 80% of your deaths, rather, I'm sorry.
Tactical asset near your position.
It's not really good luck. I'll talk about this in particular real quick. Sufi Incognito is a good friend of mine. And he's out there playing Elden Ring right now because when he dies in Elden Ring, it's because he made a mistake. You know, so he understands that it's something he did. And in Helldivers, some of the death is RNG. And that's great because it adds a level of uncertainty to the game, of surprise, of things outside calculation, which makes it more real. And being more real makes it fun. But it cannot be 80% of the time you dying. That's a huge problem. You know, it should be a real threat, a real danger, and I think 1 in 4 is a good chance. but it's not even skewing towards 1 and 4 or even half. It's literally like 80% of your deaths. Like 4 to 5 deaths is gonna be an RNG death.
Enemy tactical asset within objective critical stratagem available.
I'd rather you
Helldive
mob me with
deploying
enemies,
now.
you know, and you force me out of position, and I just get caught out there because of sheer volume. Then some bot from like over 300 meters or 200 meters, or just some random bot in the distance or cannon one shots me.
Bot asset destroyed.
That being said, this was a fun game. I did not experience anything like that. I mean, I was able to mitigate a lot of those RNG accuracy moments
Sending down sentry.
with good movement. But I feel like that RNG modifier was shifted today, or at the time of recording this game, rather. Definitely not easy. As you can see, I still have to move my ass to not get hit. Because if I stood there, I would die. So these little micro movements of a few steps and just narrowly missing death still speak to why mobility is super important. Like this fire weave I'm about to perform. I see the Hulk. I duck under the fire
Mission map
and
updated.
shimmy my way on out of there.
Tagging map.
Deploying equipment package.
Again, I'm gonna be set on both sides here, so instead of getting bogged down with 15 minutes left, I'm gonna avoid these enemies and make my way towards final evac. Well, not final evac of priority citizens, rather.
Main objective near your position.
Again, we don't go all the way in. We don't go right in. We scout the perimeter first. We see a couple easy targets. We peel them off, knowing that they might be able to
Sending down
call
sentry.
reinforcements. But we're never going straight in there. We're walking around the edges. We're throwing our turret so they can distract and we can kill things. Also, so they can prune light and medium enemies for us while we safely walk the perimeter and see what we can kill from the outside. I guess now I made an entry point. Again, using the MG turret as a distraction to kill the Hulk. Get up on here, sneak this console real quick. Again, I have 2 orbital lasers still in the pocket. In my back pocket, rather. Hello. Now that we've attracted the enemies to my area, we jump away. Unfortunately, we get that reinforcement. So we rotate, because why not? Like, I could stay there, but I have no time. So I would fight that. I mean, I can fight that, but for me, with time being short with 13 minutes left, I feel like it's a better option just rotate to the fortress, then come back later after the enemies have completed their tantrum at the civilian evac.
Sending down equipment package.
Again, QC is the best weapon to kill fabs, fortresses, all things from afar. You could argue that Eats is also good. You know, gives you similar power to your recoilless rifles, your Quasar cannons. Gives the added side grade of drop pods that you can throw everywhere, and has a higher availability. But I prefer to have it on my back and place my shots with a little bit of time in between. At this point, if I remember correctly, I'm just considering going back to the evac site. I think I'm headed back, but then a storm happens, and it makes me decide to stay and finish off the fortress. Yeah. Because if I go back to the evac site, I don't have the my stratagems. So I have my QC here. I'm still effective regardless of the storm condition. Not being able to throw stratagems puts me at a huge disadvantage at the evac site. So it's better to just stay here and snipe some fabs.
Outpost destroyed.
We're entering the final 10 minutes of the game, so I'm headed back to the evac site.
Check the map.
Mission at 10 minutes.
10 minutes is a good time. So, I mean, that's what I'm thinking at this time, I remember. 10 minutes is enough to finish the civilian evac. But right now I'm thinking I'm making good time.
Deploying sentry. Deploying equipment package.
Helldivers are here.
Where did that Obliterator Hulk come from? Is my question. Hidden in the corner, standing there menacingly, just in a place that, like, he obviously wasn't able to waddle to because he's fat.
I knew
But in that short seconds or moments where I pushed that VAR button, a Obliterator Hulk just magically appeared there.
I knew they wouldn't abandon us.
And that's kind of suspect to me. Again, we watch and we see mobility is super important, and the jump pack is still the most important backpack in the game. On the bot front, at least, you know. Thanks for the distraction, MG turret. Sitting there clanging away, pissing the Hulk off over there.
Sending down sentry.
Another fun thing about this game is that the whole jump bot thing, where everyone's freaked out about the jump bots. But to quote Bane, "You merely adopted the jump pack. I was born with it." Just having a jump pack doesn't mean that you know. Oh my god, my MG turn almost killed me. But just having the jump pack doesn't mean that you know how to use it, buddy. Another reinforcement called. But you know, we can QC that engine, take one ship down. Oh, look at this guy running. The jazz hands, look at him.
Orbital laser.
Almost forgot about my orbital lasers. Seems like a good time to use it as ever.
Said 5 minutes left. Liberty speed your step, Helldiver.
You will never destroy our way of life. It's really them. You get talent. We knew you come.
These guys are drawn to MG turret like flies to shit.
It's the Helldivers.
Deploying sentry.
Freedom marches onward, thanks to you. You may proceed to extraction.
I mean, in summary, I hope this showed that the smart pistol is really good. Smart pistol is called Warrant. It can be found in the Force of Law Warbond, which has a bunch of great stuff. Contrary to popular belief, almost everything in that Warbond is amazing. I had made a previous video using just the Warbond items, It's a great effect. And I will use them again in combination in another configuration in another build in a future video. But I wanted to show off the Smart Pistol and the Gunslinger perk. The Gunslinger perk is found on the armor. It's like the Wild West theme one, and I enjoy both armors, light and medium. Don't really rock heavy armor, but up until now it's been pretty niche. And with this Smart Pistol, it smooths out like the targeting acquisition, and it just feels amazing. It feels way better, way easier to use. Sometimes when you use the Smart Pistol without the armor, it misses. And to be fair, to go over the Smart Pistol's use case is it's like the pistol's firing gyrojets, which kind of makes sense. They're like homing rounds, so they wouldn't be like regular bullets that could just zip around and make like a right angle turn. So they're not that great at close range if you're not accurate. And by accurate, I mean the target's not directly in front of you. The Smart Pistol is better at medium to long range, and I feel like that's part of the problem with when people use it and they think that it's not great. When you're at close distance, you really do have to be pretty much on target. You could be a little off, and it'll correct the arc of fire or whatever where it's firing, but not as effectively as if you were at medium and long range. The farther away you are, the more the Smart Pistol will correct its aim and hit its target more accurately. So the closer, obviously, the less accurate it is. And it's still usable, but it just means that you can't be way off. It's got to be pretty much in that green dot area, with just a little bit off. As you can see, like that giant circle, that little green point right there. If you're using the Smart Pistol close range, try and be accurate like that. And it's still better than firing a pistol, without smart rounds. So it's still effective at close range. Just understand how to use it. That being said, it's a medium pen weapon, and because its range is so far, it's ridiculously far. It's outside the range of enemy detection. It's basically a long-range sniper. So, if you understand what it is and you use it in its use case, it's amazing. If you try and just use it like a pistol, like it's a verdict, you know what I mean? You're not gonna like it. So, understand what it is. It's an auto sniper in your secondary slot. That's so like any sniper, it's better at long range. Don't use it like a pistol. Think of it not as a pistol at all. It's a sniper rifle, an auto sniper. And if you think about it that way, like you have a primary and an auto sniper, which is way more effective than having like a dinky secondary pistol. Some pistols or some secondaries, like the Ultimatum, and even I guess the grenade pistol to some effect, have particular use cases that make them way more effective. Ultimatum being destroying heavies, which is very important especially on like other fronts like bugs and squids, but more so on bugs. But in an everyday use case, the Smart Pistol has a more less niche, more broad use. It's a medium pen auto sniper in addition to your primary, and can feel like having two primary weapons. And if you couple the Smart Pistol with the Gunslinger perk armor, you know what I mean? It throws it like it feels like you're rocking two primaries. They're different. One's an auto sniper and the other is just your primary of choice. But for me, I'd rather rock two primaries because, it makes me that much more powerful. A lot of players I see don't even use their secondary weapons, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Like you play how you want to play. But for me, having two primary weapons is double the utility. And if you juggle them, if you cycle through your kit, it's amazing. And this is me just waggling my finger like an idiot. because for some reason I have a finger wag emote. Thank you, Arrowhead. I use it to chastise my enemies and just condescendingly wag my finger at them. See, there you go. See, look at how mad that Hulk is. Jumped in on me. Anyway, just wanted to make this video and show how good the Smart Pistol is. I'm sure some of you will try it and won't understand and will be like, no, this thing sucks balls. But I'm sure there's a group of you that will use it, understand what I said, and then realize that it's an amazing secondary. And it's literally my daily driver right now. I don't think I'll bring another secondary beside the Smart Pistol. And to make it even more powerful, I'll bring the Gunslinger perk. That's not to say you need the Gunslinger perk, but that is to say that it makes it that much better and it's worth using. So if you can afford to not use it, use armor like the Scout armor, because you need stealth or whatever. I would use this Gunslinger armor. And that's what's great about this is they took like a niche armor and a niche pistol, you put them together and they become meta. Anyway, like I said, I'm kind of like not on a hiatus, but I'm busy right now, so I'm only making videos that I absolutely want to. And if you liked what you saw, please like and subscribe. You can come to my Discord and you can join up. The link is in my bio. Again, thanks for watching, and I will see you at the next one.